Hello, and welcome to our troop travel training for Girl Scouts of Western New York. My name is Elena Jones, and I'm the Assistant Director of Girl Experience. I'm very excited that you're here to enhance your knowledge about troop travel and hope that by the end of the training, you feel empowered to plan safe Girl Scout led trips. Let's get started. Here's what we'll be covering. First, we'll talk about why you should travel with your Girl Scout troop. Then we'll walk through our GSWNY travel right requirements, followed by travel progression and the paperwork you'll need at each level. After that, we'll look at planning resources and practical tips, and then take a short tour of our new travel page on our website. Let's explore the purpose behind troop travel and why it's worth supporting. Travel is one of the most meaningful ways to grow within the Girl Scout program. When leaders support travel, they open the door for their troop to build confidence, independence, and practical life skills they can't gain in a meeting room alone. Planning and taking trips helps Girl Scouts learn budgeting, time management, communication, and problem solving, skills they'll use for the rest of their lives. We also know from Girl Scout Voices Count that member satisfaction is strongly tied to participating in a variety of activities, and that Girl Scouts are looking for more field trips and off-site experiences. Travel meets that need and keeps them excited and engaged. It also gives them the chance to practice Girl Scout led leadership in a real hands on way. They work together to make decisions, set goals, divide responsibilities, and navigate new situations. Leaders who support travel empower their troop to take ownership of their experiences and discover what they're capable of. Finally, troop travel strengthens relationships. Shared adventures create bonding moments, deepen trust, and give girls memories they'll carry long after they graduate from Girl Scouts. When leaders allow their troops to travel, they're giving girls the opportunity to grow, explore, and experience the world safely, confidently, and together. All events that occur outside the normal meeting time and place require the GSWNY travel right requirements. We'll go through each of them next. Girl to adult ratios help ensure every outing is safe and well supervised. Be sure to follow the ratios for events, travel, and camping, which differ from those required for regular meetings. As you can see on the chart, the ratios change as Girl Scouts get older. For example, you need two unrelated approved volunteers, at least one of whom is female, for up to 6 daisies, and one additional approved volunteer for every 1 to 4 additional daisies. In contrast, you need two approved volunteers for up to 24 seniors and ambassadors, and one additional approved volunteer for every 1 to 12 additional seniors and ambassadors. For multi-level troops, use the ratio for the lowest grade level in the troop. For example, if the troop consists of daisies and brownies, the daisy ratio should be followed. To ensure safe overnight outings, please review the guidelines in Volunteer Essentials, which include all accompanying adults must be registered as a Girl Scout member and background checked. Those who are not co-leaders should register as a troop chaperone or troop helper. Each participant has their own bed, or parent guardian permission must be obtained if youth members are to share a bed. Youth members and adults do not share a bed, with an exception for family members. It is not mandatory that an adult sleep in the sleeping area with youth members. However, if an adult female does share the sleeping area, there must always be at least two unrelated adult females present. There are additional guidelines when male participants are part of the group, which are as follows. Males should not sleep in the same space as girl members. An exception is made for family members during events such as parent girl or family overnights, where one family may sleep together in an area specifically designated to accommodate families. If possible, men should have their own designated bathroom. If a unisex bathroom is used, the door must have a working lock or system for notifying others that the bathroom is in use. Men should not have to walk through the girls' sleeping space to get to their sleeping space or bathroom. In some circumstances, such as a museum or mall overnight with hundreds of girls, this type of accommodation may not be possible. If this is the case, men do not supervise girls in the sleeping area of the event, and the adult to girl ratio is adjusted accordingly. Depending on your trip and activities, there are various levels of permission required. The annual permission form covers local field trips and day trips. All overnight trips of any length and or a high risk level activity requires a separate trip specific permission form. You can find this troop activity permission slip on our website. If you are arranging transportation in a privately owned vehicle, the drivers must be approved registered volunteers with the troop. Additionally, every driver must be at least 21 years old and have a clean driving record, a valid license, and a registered and insured vehicle. Youth members never drive other youth members. If a group is traveling in one vehicle, there must be at least two unrelated approved adult volunteers in the vehicle, one of whom is female, and the girl volunteer ratio must be followed. If a group is traveling in more than one vehicle, the entire group must consist of at least two unrelated approved adult volunteers, one of whom is female, and the girl volunteer ratio must be followed. Care must be taken so that a single car is not separated from the group to keep to the necessary volunteer girl safety ratios. And volunteers are not permitted to operate 15-passenger vans to transport youth members. Girl health history and adult health history forms, permission slips, and a first aid kit must be brought along on the trip. And lastly, review the safety activity checkpoints for all of your planned activities, as there may be additional requirements. If a specific activity is not provided in the safety activity checkpoints, contact customer care to make sure council approves of the activity. And that's our 5 GSWNY travel right requirements. Master these 5 and your travel planning journey is off to a strong start. Next, we will take a look at the updated travel progression chart from GSUSA. The Girl Scout travel experience is built up by progression. One activity leads to the next more challenging activity. Girl Scouts progress from meeting time and day trips as daisies towards simple and extended overnight trips as brownies and juniors. As they gain experience and confidence, Girl Scouts will plan extended trips, both nationally and internationally. When thinking about progression and your troop's readiness for travel, consider things like their ability to be away from caregivers and their homes, their ability to adapt to unfamiliar surroundings and situations, their ability to make decisions for themselves and the good of the group well and easily, their ability to get along with each other and handle challenges, and their previous cross-cultural experiences, skills, interests, and language skills. You can even take the Am I Ready for Travel quiz in GSUSA's Guide to Domestic Travel, which we'll talk about more later. The key point is, Girl Scouts should have experience at every level of the progression before moving on to the next level. Let's take a closer look at each level and the required paperwork. Step 1 is a local field trip. A short trip to points of interest in the community, such as a walk to a nearby garden or a short ride by car or public transportation to the firehouse. These usually take place during the regular troop meeting time. Local field trips are where the travel journey begins. They fit every level, but they're especially perfect for daisies and brownies. Before you go, your troop should understand the buddy system, function as part of a group, and follow behavior and safety instructions. Keep it Girl Scout led by having the troop vote on the location. The only paperwork you need is a completed girl health history, an annual permission slip for each Girl Scout attending, and a completed adult health history for each adult attending, along with the travel right requirements. Step two is a day trip, an all day visit to the zoo or museum, or come to a council sponsored program and either bring your own lunch or stop at a nearby restaurant. Again, day trips are great for every level, but especially for daisies, brownies, and juniors. But before you go, your troop should take a few local field trips before moving on to a day trip. Day trips can be challenging for daisies who have not experienced local field trips, so be sure they go on a few before progressing to a full day trip. Keep it Girl Scout led by having the Girl Scouts choose the location and activity and help make plans for lunch. The paperwork requirements are the same as for local field trips. Step three is an overnight trip, maybe at a GSWNY camp property or staying in a hotel in a nearby city. Before jumping into an overnight, your troop should have already done a few local field trips and at least one day trip so they're prepared for a longer experience. Overnights are recommended for brownies and juniors, but a Daisy troop may participate in a single overnight if the troop and caregivers feel ready. Brownie troops can participate in trips up to 2 nights. Keep it Girl Scout led by involving the troop in the planning process, choosing activities, helping plan meals, creating travel games, and packing their own bags. These small steps build independence and confidence. At this level, you'll begin using trip-specific permission slips and a medication permission form if a Girl Scout is traveling without their caregiver and need prescription or over-the-counter medication. If your overnight involves camping, be sure to review the camping section in the safety activity checkpoints, along with any additional sections that match your planned activities, like archery, boating, or hiking. If you're staying at a non-GSWNY campsite, you will additionally need to submit the permission for use of non-council campsite form 60 days before the trip. Step four is a short trip, typically 2 to 3 nights and within a 6-hour drive from home. This could be something like a visit to Cleveland, Pittsburgh, or Hershey Park. Before taking a regional short trip, your troop should have already completed at least one local overnight or weekend trip. Short trips are recommended for juniors and cadets, but brownies with prior overnight experience in Girl Scouting may participate if prepared. Keep the experience Girl Scout led by having the troop take the lead on planning activities, creating the budget, mapping out the route, and choosing lodging. These trips give them a real opportunity to practice decision making and teamwork. Starting at this level, in addition to the trip-specific permission slip and medication permission, you must submit an intent to travel form to council at least 90 days before the trip, and a troop travel agreement and any additional documents at least 60 days before the trip. Step five is an extended trip, a getaway that lasts 4 or more nights or takes you more than 6 hours from home, like Washington, D.C. or Savannah. Before you go, your troop should have already completed at least one short trip. Extended trips are recommended for cadets, seniors, and ambassadors, but juniors with prior short trip experience in Girl Scouting may also participate if they're ready. At this level, Girl Scouts are leading the entire planning process. You're there to support, guide, and ensure safety, but this is truly their project. GSUSA's Guide to Domestic Travel is an excellent resource for them to use throughout planning. The paperwork requirements and deadlines are the same as for a short trip. Step 6 is an international trip, the Mount Everest of troop travel. To participate, Girl Scouts must be at least cadets or 11 years old and should have completed at least one national trip. At this level, they're putting every skill they've learned into action, researching destinations, comparing flight options, creating a full budget, learning about the language and culture, and navigating passport and visa requirements. These tips typically take several years to plan, which is why we ask that you submit your intent to travel form 24 months before the trip and the troop travel agreement 18 months before the trip. In the past, leaders had to apply for additional accident and sickness insurance. However, as of October 1st, 2025, GSUSA automatically provides coverage for all types of travel, including international, so no separate application is required. One important difference at this level: instead of the trip specific permission slip, any Girl Scout under 18 traveling to any foreign country, including Canada, without their caregivers will need to submit a permission to travel with minors form. You'll find all of the required forms for each level of travel hyperlinked on the travel page of our website. Now that you know the paperwork requirements, it's time to start planning. Here are some resources and tips to help you get started. In the Troop Travel Resources section of our travel page, you'll find several of GSUSA's step-by-step travel guides, ranging from planning a field trip for daisies to organizing a global adventure. There's even a dedicated guide for visiting the Juliette Gordon Low birthplace in Savannah. You'll also see a few optional forms we've created, like a medication log and a travel code of conduct that you may find helpful to use. A great place to begin your planning is deciding where to go. Have a brainstorming discussion with your troop and ask questions like, what is interesting to all of us? Where and when could we go? How will we get there and how much will it cost? How should we get ready? What activities do we want to do? Then pick a few top choices from your brainstorming discussion and have Girl Scouts vote on their favorite. It's a simple way to move forward while making sure Girl Scouts stay at the center of the decision making. Once you've chosen your destination, the next step is figuring out the budget to make your trip possible. Here are some things to include in your budget: admission fees, tickets, transportation, such as vehicle rental fees, gas, plane or train fare, parking, tolls, taxis, or other public transportation, lodging, food, souvenirs, and other miscellaneous items. Then consider your available troop funds, your planned product program sale, and other money earning activities. Is the amount each Girl Scout pays reasonable? And will at least three-fourths of your troop be able to attend? And then what opportunities will be provided for Girl Scouts who cannot go? Your product program sales should be your primary money earning activity. Use your budget as the baseline for your goals and share your plans with customers. People love knowing what their support is helping girls experience. Juniors and above can participate in other money earning activities. These must be approved by council. Applications must be submitted at least 30 days prior to the activity to your volunteer experience manager. Within 1 month after the activity, submit the evaluation and bank statement showing deposit to your volunteer experience manager. Games of chance, such as raffles, contests, bingo, crowdsource fundraising like GoFundMe, and reselling any commercial product like candy or entertainment books, and direct solicitation of cash is prohibited. Activities where a business will provide a portion of their profits is considered a sponsorship. So please contact the fund development team. And here are some money earning ideas. Have a bake sale or hot chocolate stand, car wash, can or bottle drive, a spaghetti dinner or pancake breakfast. You can fundraise with Savers, or you can sell concessions with Delaware North. The safety of our members is our top priority. So, in addition to reviewing the travel section in Volunteer Essentials and the safety activity checkpoints, make sure at least one adult member who is certified in first aid and CPR accompanies the troop. Identify an emergency contact person who is not going on the trip, who is willing to communicate with families and the troop in case of an emergency. Plan ahead on how the group will deal with emergencies, illness, and inclement weather. Submit an incident report form within 24 hours of any incident. Upon arrival, inspect accommodations for safety. Check the door locks. Make sure you know where the fire alarms and the exit routes are. And create and share an exit or evacuation plan. Be sure that you have the council emergency number, 1-800-882-9268. Please only use this number for a true emergency when someone's health, safety, or property is in jeopardy and immediate action is required. Before the trip, Girl Scouts should know to always use the buddy system, what to do if they accidentally get separated from the group, what to do if emergency help is needed, how to navigate a crowd, how to perform basic first aid procedures, appropriate behaviors, how to appropriately represent Girl Scouts, and which adult they are accountable to while on the trip. It's really important to set expectations and behavior guidelines before the trip. You can have participants sign a behavior agreement or a code of conduct if appropriate. And here are some other general tips and reminders. All contracts for a resort, travel agency, or non-GSWNY campground contract need to be signed by the GSWNY CEO. Submit to customer care at gswny.org no less than 1 month prior to your trip. The exception is rental car agreements, which you may sign. Take the insurance. When booking flights, it's a good idea to consider trip cancellation insurance. This can help protect your troop financially if something unexpected comes up, like illness, travel delays, or other emergencies. Policies vary, so be sure to review what's covered before purchasing. Plan for contingencies. Occasionally, things will not go as planned. Budget for extra money on hand as a contingency fund for when unexpected changes come up. Choose chaperones wisely. As you ask for chaperones, be sure to look for those who are committed to being a positive role model, respecting all Girl Scouts and adults equally, prioritizing the safety of all Girl Scouts, supporting and reinforcing a group agreement, handling pressure and stress by modeling flexibility, and creating an experience for and with Girl Scouts. Troop funds may be used for adults to attend, but only the minimum number needed based on safety ratios. Girl Scouts should be aware of what their troop funds are going toward and agree. Avoid having extra adults above the minimum number needed based on safety ratios tag along on short, extended, and international trips. This helps the experience stay Girl Scout led. Prepare a pre-trip orientation and distribute things like a detailed itinerary, packing list, and the designated emergency contacts information. And for international travel, you can register your trip with the U.S. government's Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. You'll want to check the Centers for Disease and Control Prevention website about health concerns for your destination. Confirm the travel advisory level for the destination via the U.S. State Department's Bureau of Consular Affairs. Girl Scouts are not to travel to a level 4 location under any circumstances. And be aware of entry requirements for the destination. That concludes our training, but if you have any additional questions, we are here to support you. Reach out to customer care either by email at customercare@gswny.org or give us a call at 1-888-837-6410. And now we will take a look at our new travel page. First, you'll go to our website, GSWNY.org, and from there, you'll hover over the Members tab on the far right-hand side. Under For Girls and Caregivers, you'll click on Field Trips and Travel. Welcome to our travel page. We've made it a one-stop shop for all of the information, forms, and other resources you need to plan a great trip. First thing you'll notice is a link to the Girl Scout Travel Progression Chart, which provides a clear path from simple outings to more complex travel and ensures age-appropriate experiences that match a Girl Scout's readiness, maturity, and experience level. Heading back to the travel page, you'll see it's now broken into the 3 different ways to travel: with your troop or service unit, our council, or through destinations with GSUSA. We'll start with troop travel. If your troop is meeting somewhere other than your normal location and time, our new and improved Troop Travel Guide will be the first place you'll want to check out. It covers the GSWNY travel right requirements, tips for planning, safety checklists, and fundraising guidelines. Back on the travel page, under the required forms section, you'll want to check to see which forms you'll need based on the type of trip you're planning. Just click the drop-down menu and you'll find handy links that take you straight to each form needed. We've also provided links to other great resources, including the safety activity checkpoints, a DAISY field trip guide, Girl Scout guides to global and domestic travel, an optional code of conduct you can ask travelers to sign, and a chaperone participation agreement. Next is council travel. Here's where you'll find information about our upcoming council-sponsored trips and links to the enrollment pages. Lastly, destinations. These are trips for individual cadet, senior, and ambassador Girl Scouts hosted by GSUSA. Clicking on the link will take you to GSUSA's website. You'll scroll down and click on Travel. You'll scroll down again under Ready for the Ultimate Adventure and click on Get Details. And you'll find a list of available destination trips. Going back to our page, there's a brief blurb on funding your travel, which the Troop Travel Guide also covers. And that's it for our travel page. We hope you find it helpful and easy to navigate. If you need more assistance, just reach out to customer care and they'll connect you with the right person. Happy travels!